her posts have evolved. "We are all so close, and the fun family times are long gone." Rather, her Instagram has turned into a temple to self-reliance. Cryptic sayings regarding energy, preserving tranquility, and avoiding things that don't match. For the Kardashian devotees, these are signals, but for the ordinary follower, they are merely inspirational postings. She is undoubtedly referring to Khloe and Scott. Under her most recent post, a fan said, "You can feel the passive-aggressive energy through the screen." They may not be entirely incorrect. Everything began when people saw that Khloe and Scott were spending more time together again. They were reappearing in each other's Instagram stories, hanging together during shooting breaks, and having casual meals. It seemed benign at first, the same brother-sister relationship they had always had. What would the ideal girl look like on paper if you had the chance to meet her? Like, let me tell you, what's going on with this guy? Then the pictures appeared. The way Khloe smiled and leaned in a little too comfortably, the way Scott gazed at her. It was private in a household where everything is private, but it wasn't scandalous. That alone, when examined, is enough to trigger a breakdown. According to a person close to the family, Kourtney has been working to establish a secure, healthy existence. Even though she's at last happy with Travis, it seems like déjà vu to witness Scott and Khloe's intimacy return, as like she's being drawn back into the maelstrom of the past. And then was the actual start of the strain. Nobody understands Scott as well as Kourtney. She is aware of his charisma, his sense of humor, and his capacity to seem innocent while causing trouble. She has seen the speed at which friendliness turns into familiarity. Furthermore, while she has never charged Scott or Khloe with anything improper, she has said unequivocally that boundaries must be established, particularly now that she is a wife and mother of 4 with a peace-focused purpose. What's going on? Most likely I would sell this home. God, oh God. Additionally, I would sell the other homes I'm creating and then proceed with the same plan there, constructing buildings, apartments, and other structures. None of this seems well thought out to me. This is similar to making a rash purchase, but it's never a smart idea. It has nothing to do with jealousy, the insider said. Emotional boundaries are at issue. Kourtney isn't upset. Simply put, she's sick of seeing the same situation over. Fans just saw a pivotal incident involving the Kardashians. When Khloe joked that Scott was her favorite during a family scene, the camera moved to Kourtney, who had a kind grin but piercing eyes. Despite her silence, everyone in the room understood that Kourtney had finished acting. Any debate was overshadowed by the stillness. And the internet concurred that something was undoubtedly wrong, as that moment went viral. Kourtney's expression could shatter glass. "It's difficult to be us," but one fan wrote, "She's trying to keep her composure, but you can tell she's over it." Not simple. "You always look nice, however. I also admire that you haven't been leaving." I don't. Fans now firmly believe that Kourtney's tolerance has run its course. She no longer found Scott's jokes funny. She ceased to protect Khloe's allegiance. She may even be prepared to confront them for the first time in years. Because once you go over a line in Kourtney's universe, there's no turning back. Behind the well-groomed grins at family meals, a silent storm is building. One that has been developing between Scott Dick and Khloe Kardashian for months. Their relationship has always been faithful and humorous to the outside world. However, that bond seems to be deeper, possibly too deep these days. Insiders claim that Kourtney Kardashian has finally had enough. Whispers from the production crew were the first. Khloe and Scott's late-night phone chats, lengthy text messages, and off-camera hangouts are discussed. Personal, but neither romantic or scandalous. They have consistently relied on one another for emotional support, said a family close source. It's different this time, however. Scott has been talking to her about things he used to keep from Kourtney. About his loneliness, his regrets, and his anxieties. Khloe was the one person who never abandoned Scott for years. She served as his sounding board throughout his darkest hours and his sane voice when no one else could. In any case, Scott will always be a member of my family, and I don't want to lose any of them. I want for all of us to remain together. However, over time, that emotional dependence deepened. And it was an issue for Kourtney. Loyalty is not a Kourtney's problem. Does it have boundaries? She doesn't feel envious. She is guarded. Protective of her marital status, her tranquility, and the distance she had fought so hard to establish from her prior relationship with Scott. Kourtney is pleased that Khloe and Scott have become friends. To a certain extent, disclosed another insider. However, there is a gray area when your ex calls your sister all the time to ask for emotional assistance. However, I haven't yet spoken to Kourt, the children, or anybody else of that kind. Yes. Would that be acceptable to Mason? Well, I'm not sure. Additionally, the gray region is becoming darker every day. According to Kourtney, Scott uses Khloe as an emotional stand-in, a link to the family he once had and the affection he can't completely let go of. Khloe, however, has a different perspective. She's only being loyal to her, the lone person remaining kind towards someone the world has rejected. Scott and Khloe aren't concealing anything. The problem is that they don't say enough. From the Shared fans have remarked that their intimacy is more intense than ever, from lunches to secret text messages and late-night talks captured on camera by photographers. When no one else is around, they are constantly together. On a TikTok that went popular, one person left a remark. Khloe and Scott's vibe is too cozy. They chat every day, as you can tell. Perhaps they do, as Khloe acknowledges that Scott understands her in ways that few others do, despite her insistence that their connection is entirely platonic. Both of them experienced heartbreak and felt misunderstood. The emotional burden of preserving the family fell on both of them. Even when it begins to cause friction, that kind of attachment is difficult to break. According to many who know Kourtney, she recently faced them both with harsh honesty rather than rage. She informed them that the degree of intimacy they share makes her uneasy. According to The Insider, it's about respect rather than mistrust. However, the discussion didn't go well. According to reports, Khloe justified herself by stating that she would never turn on Kourtney. Scott, however, attempted to downplay the circumstances by joking that Kourtney was exaggerating. That joke was a failure. The source said that Kourtney didn't laugh, she just left. And then everything was different. The delicately adjusted relationship within the family seems tight once again. No reality show edit can cover up that type of stress. Scott and Khloe are still conversing. Quieter about it, but still near. And when Kourtney does talk, it won't be subtly, so she's given up being silent completely. Until the time is ripe, the Kardashians have always managed to keep their conflict under wraps, or at least behind the camera. However, Kourtney Kardashian wasn't concerned about punctuality this time. The last thing you want after building your piece is for your history to resurface via the ones you once trusted the most. So she ended her silence. Kourtney posted a series of black and white images on her Instagram account, which is how Kardashian feuds often start. There were no names or background, but everyone understood who it was about, and the timing was too ideal. One remark in particular jumped out. Boundaries aren't meant to hurt feelings. They're meant to protect peace. Scott and Khloe were seen together exiting a private dinner in Malibu a week before, allegedly discussing business, but neither of them acknowledged it. The quote was abandoned by Kourtney. The internet made the connections in a matter of minutes. One admirer wrote, "Oh, she's talking about Scott and Khloe." Another person added, "That's definitely aimed at them." The eldest Kardashian sister was irate for the first time in a long time when someone said, "The calm Kourtney shade has entered the chat." According to reports, producers understood the tension would inevitably arise when the new season of The Kardashians started shooting. Neither Kourtney nor her sisters were concealing their emotions anymore. In a single unfiltered, Kourtney took her fury out during the mid-con talk with Kim. It has nothing to do with what they did. It's because they give me the impression that my limits are unimportant. I'm not envious. I'm over being treated disrespectfully. She didn't raise her voice. She did not flinch. However, her tone was cold, composed, and clearly serious. Despite Kim's attempts to defuse the situation, Kourtney wasn't holding back. "Every time I move on, Scott finds a way to pull someone close to me back into his mess," she said. And there it was, the long-awaited confession. It's exhausting. I have my own family now. I'm not part of that triangle anymore. Social media exploded as the preview for the episode was released. Before the show ever aired, the video went viral and had millions of views. What we've all been thinking was finally said by Kourtney. Others weren't as kind, with one fan writing, "She's not being dramatic. She's setting boundaries. Good for her." Matic. "She's setting boundaries. Good for her." She's upset with Khloe for being kind, which is strange. Kourtney is always acting like the victim. There was a sharp division on the internet. Half of them defend her desire for privacy, while the other half accuse her of creating needless controversy. Kourtney, however, was unconcerned. She was not attempting to gain public acceptance for the first time. She was attempting to preserve her tranquilly. Khloe apparently took Kourtney's remarks more personally than she admitted, even though they made headlines. She has always taken great satisfaction in being the devoted sister and the mediator. It hurt to hear that her generosity was seen as treachery, deep. Khloe was caught off guard. According to a source, she has consistently stood by Kourtney, even throughout her most trying times with Scott. It was painful to hear her speak in such a way. Nevertheless, Khloé maintained her composure and said in private, "I love her, but I won't apologize for caring about someone." Later, in the next episode, same statement would reappear, suggesting that the family's conflict was still very much present. It wasn't only shade in Kourtney's article. It was a proclamation. She has been portrayed for years as cold, aloof, and uncaring. She's displaying something new now, however, boundaries that result from recovery rather than bitterness. She wasn't angry enough to expose Khloé and Scott. A line was being drawn by her. A distinction between the woman she is now and the one she was. And nobody in her family is permitted to cross that boundary ever again. The repercussions were swift as Kourtney Kardashian finally marked her boundary in the sand. Scott, Dick, and Khloe Kardashian were immediately thrust back into the public eye after her comment about boundaries and peace went viral. The tension wasn't silent this time, however. It was intimate. Khloe had seen the post as soon as it was published. She didn't call, didn't message or remark. She just sat with it, reading every word, every response, every assumption, and flooding her notifications because despite her best efforts to maintain order, she always finds herself in the center of the chaos. According to a close source, Khloé was harmed. She doesn't get how being devoted and helpful can suddenly turn her into the issue. This wasn't treachery to Khloé. It was just a friendship that predated both the rumors and Kourtney's marriage by a significant margin. Khloé didn't mince words when producers brought it up during the Kardashians' shooting. "My sister is more important to me than anything," she firmly said. "But I'm not going to stop being kind to someone because she's uncomfortable. That's not how family works." Her voice wasn't combative. It was worn out. Because Khloé was no longer only opposing the narrative on the internet. Within her own family, she was battling for her reputation. When things become tricky, Scott Dick does what he usually does. When TMZ approached him outside a restaurant and inquired as to whether Kourtney's tweet was about him, he attempted to dismiss it with a joke. I mean, when is it not? He smiled. This was classic Scott, charming, irresponsible, and a little bit reckless. According to insiders, he was more shaken than he seemed to be behind the jokes. Scott detests being iced out as much as he detests controversy. According to an insider, he fears that Kourtney is really done, and that he may have pushed things too far this time. In all honesty, she may be. After years of turmoil, Scott has clung to the family dynamic that provided stability in his life by attempting to maintain a tight relationship with the Kardashians. That link included Khloé. Perhaps that was the last thread that held him. Even that connection seems brittle now. Insiders claim that after the viral success of Kourtney's post, Khloé and Scott had a private talk. It wasn't playful. It wasn't funny. It was real. "We need to chill." Khloé allegedly told him, "This isn't fair to her. She's trying to move on and we keep dragging her back." Scott didn't argue for once. He just sighed and said quietly, "I know. I just miss the way things used to be." That moment says it all. "I didn't plan for it to turn strange. I'll always be there for you," Khloé assured him. "But it has to be different now." Scott wasn't needing drama. He was craving belonging, but she understood that what seemed innocent to them didn't seem innocent to the outside world or to Kourtney. Within the Kardashian group, the repercussions was felt instantly. Kim remained neutral, claiming that it was all a misunderstanding, while Kris, as usual, attempted to treat it like a business issue. That was the last time the two were seen together in public for weeks. "We simply need to get she's done playing therapist," a family friend shared. "She's not going to sit around while Scott and Khloé figure out their friendship. That's not her responsibility anymore." Khloé remained classy in public, posting a few neutral messages about honesty and energy without directly mentioning her sister or Scott. However, behind closed doors, she told producers, half joking, that she wasn't ready for that. The tension persisted. Khloe and Kourtney were not communicating daily for the first time in a long time, and the sisterhood seemed shattered. "They'll always love each other," the source said. "But right now, it's distance over damage." Scott, on the other hand, did what he usually does when things become awkward. He vanished from the story. The cameras and social media. The aftermath may have been low-key for the time being. But it was profound because this wasn't just about envy, or the story is about love, loyalty, and what happens when those two things start pulling in opposite directions. Because underneath the glamour, the fame, and the headlines, this is still a story about three people who care deeply for each other, but can't seem to stop hurting each other in real life. It was about boundaries, loyalty, and the painful reality that sometimes even family can't stay unbroken. When all the noise fades, when the cameras stop rolling, and the filters come off, what's left is something the Kardashians hardly ever show: the raw reality of family tension. As the sister who discovered that distance can be healing and silence is power, Kourtney Kardashian has come to represent emotional evolution. Her message is not one of anger, but rather self-preservation. She spent years living in the midst of Scott's turbulent life, carrying pieces of his pain long after their relationship ended. But now she is no longer carrying anyone's. That transition from fixer to free is something we're not used to seeing from this family. She once stated that boundaries aren't punishment, but protection. And perhaps that's the best way to describe her. Then there's Khloe, the emotional hub of the Kardashian family, the sister who loves too much, forgives too easily, and bears the guilt for things she didn't do. Her relationship with Scott was never betrayed. Rather, it was loyalty, messy, misinterpreted, human loyalty. But when loyalty begins to harm someone you care about, it forces a reckoning.